Who cares about the dang graphic, dude? We'll find it. But I
All
guess
right.
on the subject we were just talking about, seems like Texas and Oklahoma are finally instead of coming in July of 2025, seems like they're going to pay $100 million to get themselves out a year early.
Well, if you got the money, spend it. If you want to get out of there, I mean, they're bringing in new guys or new teams, I should say. Anyways, with UCF, Cincinnati and Houston, I think. Who else is coming in?
Oh, when it comes to the Big 12, yeah, it's
Yeah.
BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, UCF. And then there's another team that I'm forgetting right now, but this is what I was looking at. And there was a graphic I saw before, but it says the Big 12 and its TV partners have reached a early exit agreement with Texas and Oklahoma. The schools will owe the league a combined, so $50 million each, for the exit fee, and they'll begin playing in the SEC in 2024, excuse me. And so, yeah, the reason I wanted this other graphic is the other graphic says that each SEC team, it was like a $750 million that they all got in revenue, and that was divided amongst the 14 teams. So it's essentially just 1 year's worth of media rights, which they could easily make up. So I wanted to show that too, but I can't freaking find the stupid thing. But I don't
I'm
know.
looking for that too, but
The current state of those two programs, it's not like it's all that big of shakes, realistically, like you were saying before. You got any thoughts, or are you just going to leave dead air?
No, I don't see where any of the. I'm still looking for this goddamn graphic. I want to know now because it's saying that these schools are getting a bonus, obviously, but I want to know how it was divvied up. But it's interesting because the Big 12 doesn't do conferences, right? Aren't they doing away with their conferences?
Well, they're doing away with their divisions, but I thought
That's what
they've
I meant.
done that.
That's what I meant. So for one more year, you're going to have an increase in that division. You got Texas and Houston are playing in November. I think you got Oklahoma. They play on the road at BYU. That's now a division or a conference game. I mean, I'm interested to see what the Big 12 looks like for the 2023 season. I mean, I'm glad they're coming to the SEC. I think it makes the SEC more competitive. But I think the Big 12 might be the most interesting conference in football next year.
It'll be interesting to see how those schools are treated, Texas and Oklahoma, because I would imagine when you go to Oklahoma State, they're not going to like either of those two schools, but
Yeah.
Oklahoma especially. I guess in theory, Texas' biggest rivals are Oklahoma and A&M, so they're going to be joining one of them and then leaving with the other. So I guess it might be a little bit different for them relative to Oklahoma. But, Oklahoma's got a couple of trips that are going to be awkward, I would imagine. But everyone hates Texas, let's be honest.
I think it makes it even more interesting, though, because everybody's is the playoff starting this year? Am I crazy? Is it this year?
Well, the playoff started in like 2011. So.
The expanded playoff, I should have said.
No, I think it's 2024 is when they go to what? They decided on 12.
It is one more year of 4 teams. I was going to say, because the Big 12 could be looking at, possibility of 3, 4, 5 teams competing for a playoff spot down the stretch. Problem is they beat each other up throughout the year.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sharing this right here. This is what I was speaking of. On Thursday, the SEC Conference Commissioner Greg Sankey announced $721.8 million in total revenue that was split amongst the 14 member universities. And then it shows right here, $49.9 million per university, which is down. Interesting. I didn't realize that was down from a year ago. Wonder why that would be.
Attendance in some places, I'd imagine, affects it. I mean,
what'd you say?
Is it attendance affecting that? Is it, TV revenue? What affects that?
I don't know, because my only guess, which I thought you were maybe saying, it could be attendance for sure. I could also think it could be like inflation. So like the cost to actually produce it is a little bit higher, so that gets factored out. Not quite sure though.
Well, that could be it. I mean, even just the sheer fact that it costs more to produce it and the cost of tickets didn't increase with that same demand of production, that they lost some money. I mean, that's possible because tickets can only get so expensive during regular season games. When Mizzou and fucking Arkansas play, no one really gives a shit.
Besides those two teams, yeah. And fuck, some of those people on those teams might not care. their own fans.
That's very true.
What's funny here is this is a Yahoo Sports. Is this like a – oh, okay, it's the Gator Wire. Because I was about to say, it says in this article that means Florida will likely receive $50 million in revenue distribution. I was like, why would a Yahoo Sports article just single out Florida? But it's the Gator Wire.
Damn, we could have paid Rashada.
Speaking of, did you so the Andy Staples thing, because we were talking about The Athletic, that's the guy for one of the college football writers for The Athletic that was breaking apparently the actual payments of what he was supposed to get. Did you look at that in the notes, like what the graphic is for what his intended pay plan was going to be?
Yeah,
I'll share that now since we're on the topic.
It's pretty interesting the fact that this dude that they worked this kind of deal for someone. This NIL thing blows my mind. This dude's never played a snap in college, and up front, $500,000 just to come to the school.
Yeah,
Freshman year, $250K a month. $250,000 a month.
it's insane, man. The money that they're talking about here is insane.
Season? Is that only during the season, or is that 12 months a year?
I would suspect they probably got it in such a way where it's – I don't know if they go NFL style where you're just getting paid through the season, but I guess it depends on how they negotiated it. They could have probably very well negotiated it for being bi-monthly or monthly payments. I'm not quite sure.
It says per month. This has to be only during the season, because if we were to do the math, that's got to be far more than $13 million.
Yeah, you're telling me that is true. It seems like if it's your freshman year, up front he's already getting paid $500,000, and then it obviously progresses as he goes along. Senior year, he'd be making the least amount of money. That's interesting. So it's basically front loaded.
Well, that's because they assume he won't be there for his senior year, and they'll just owe him that.
But wouldn't you do it the exact opposite? Give him the incentive structure to stay his senior year, so you pay him the most that year?
Well, that's why they give him $375 his junior year to come, to perform the best. I don't know. The way college is set up, no one's staying for their senior year anymore unless you absolutely have to. There's no way, especially if you're getting money like this. If this is accurate, how do we know this is accurate?
We don't, but it's just this is what Andy Staples is reporting.
Because there's a contradicting report from Nick Delator, I think, or somebody inside the Gator program that basically has leaked conversations that say that the booster said that, well, so-and-so told me to tell him that X, $13 million. It's like, it was a he said, she said. I didn't know that it got to this extent that they were absolutely guaranteeing $500,000 up front. Like they didn't mention that at all, but I mean, maybe they did a deep. I don't know. It seems to me that people inside the program may have more information than somebody at The Athletic who's looking to get likes and views. I don't know.
Well, I mean, wouldn't Del Torre, who has a smaller base, want to be reporting something that gets some likes and views too?
Maybe, but he's also, I don't know. He's also kind of inside the program, so he might have more. He's around every bit of Gator sports, so I feel like I'd kind of trust him more. I don't know. I've never heard of Stuart Mandel and Andy Staples. With all due respect to those guys, I haven't heard them report on Gator sports before.
Oh, right. But I mean, Andy Staples used to work at ESPN.
Right. But I meant in terms of Gator sports. I've never heard them be, Gator guys. Now, that's not to mean that a national guy can't pick up a scoop on something, but I would think somebody around the program every day would have a little more insight. But that's just interesting. Those are fucking crazy numbers to me. I can't imagine that was guaranteed to somebody that, I mean, first of all, somebody that, how can you, I think they got to rectify the NIL to where you can only guarantee so much to a player. And then after they sign, then you can start giving out big money. Like
it seems like that's going the reverse in Florida, because look at what I just shared. I don't know if you saw this, but it looks like the Florida House voted to essentially make NIL stuff here more like it is, I think, in California. But it says Florida House still got to pass the Senate, get signed. But if it's passing the House, 113-0, effectively to repeal the current name, image, and likeness law. It's going to change things. But the thing that is good about this bill that I saw, and or what I thought, is that it gives coaches and the actual team more say of what the collective does with their money. Where right now, at least by Florida law, like a Billy Napier or Miami's head coach. Gosh, why am I drawing a blank on those two guys?
Mario Cristobal.
And then fuckface McGee over there at Florida State. Those guys can't work with their collectives apparently directly and say, here's where how much I want you to offer this kid. It's sort of the collectives doing that on their own. Obviously, there's probably some communication, but not as much as you would otherwise expect. And apparently this bill, at least for Florida schools, will allow coaches in the state to have more of a grips on what's going on. I'm trying to read it to where it says that component.
Well, either way, I don't see how you even could offer kids money without the coach's input or consent, or even, at least getting him to sign off on it. I get it's not his money, but it's his player. What is the current law? What's the current law state?
I see that's something I don't know, but the only thing I could see is, of course, I would imagine there's communication between a coach, the NIL collective, or whatever their situation is. But if boosters want to potentially, or another third party who's running that collective wants to say, okay, coach wants Rashada, they give some, Billy has no, I guess he can maybe facilitate the numbers, but at the same token, if the current law, which again, I don't know what it is, but if that current law is something saying that he can't even talk about dollars and cents, it's now kind of up to that third party guy to put it all together.
Right.
And then rally the boosters behind that. So in this situation, it looks like it now gives administrators and the head coach, so people who actually have a direct incentive, to have a little more say in what's going on.
Yeah, well, that should be how it is. I don't know how it ever got started without that, but again, we don't know exactly what the current law is, so we're kind of just speculating. But I can only imagine it'd be good for the sport, for the people that are calling the shots on a day-to-day basis, to have the input and the final say in what we're offering kids, knowing their worth.
Well, here you go. It says specifically the current law prohibits coaches, schools, and support organizations from directing NIL compensation towards players. So essentially, it's literally saying a coach can't direct how the compensation works. So they could just have sort of bidding wars, and it's all some third party. In this case, the Gator Collective.
If that's the case, then I like it. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, no. So I'm hoping that that's a step in the right direction and more states go about doing it that way. Obviously, I don't know what the finalized law is going to be. I just saw that this afternoon because I think that's when the story was written. But yeah, no. NIL needs to get itself sorted out. It's something it's been absolutely ridiculous how it's gone so far. And I'm hoping that they can get it rectified in some manner. But let's get to the people who get really paid. Let's get into Super Bowl 57 in Scottsdale, Arizona, baby.
I couldn't be more excited for this game.
I'm pretty damn pumped about it. I'm not going to lie. You got Hurts, Mahomes. You got some heck of a good wide receivers in you got them with Kansas City, but the two bad boys are over there in Philly. You got the best tight end probably in the game right now, maybe Kittle, over there in Kansas City. It's going to be legit. I'm excited for it.
Seems like everybody's healthy too, for the most part. I mean, there's a couple big names on one big name at least on each side. Lane Johnson's questionable, and Kadarius Toney's questionable with an ankle/hamstring deal. But at this point, everybody's a little banged up. The fact that he's on the injury list is a little concerning this late in the week, but I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? I think everybody's going to be jacked up for this game, especially a guy like Kadarius Toney who's never been here before. He's going to do everything he can to play.
No doubt. I wonder if that experience,
man.
True, and I wonder if that experience is, to your point, never being there before. Hurts ain't never been there either. The Eagles relatively recently have been to a Super Bowl and won it, but a lot of that team, besides maybe Kelsey and some of those line of scrimmage players, haven't been there. Their stud guy has never been there. So that experience factor may weigh on the side of Kansas City.
I think that's a huge factor. I mean, Kansas City, it's kind of like Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes, he'll have the butterflies that everybody gets before games, but he ain't going to be overly anxious, in my opinion. I think it's a guy that's been there, done that. He's going to come in with one goal on his mind, and that's to leave there hoist a Lombardi trophy. And I think Jalen Hurts has the same mindset, but when you've never been there before and you got the bright lights, the pageantry, the whole game's slowed down. You got more commercials. You got the intro that takes forever. The halftime's longer. I mean, it's a lot different of a game. You hear guys like Tom Brady and Ray Lewis and Teddy Bruschi and these guys that have been to multiple Super Bowls talk about it. They say it's a whole different environment than even NFC, AFC championship game. It's a much different game.
Uh-oh, I got a battery situation going on here.
That's what cut me off on my thought. I completely lost my track.
Yeah, I thought. Can you at least hear me still?
I got you on, but you are completely blacked out.
Blackout. This is how I'm going to be Sunday, baby.
Hopefully they don't have another blackout of the Super Bowl. That was a whole event. True. But I'll get into the overview. I mean, besides Mahomes being healthy post-ankle sprain, I mean, the Chiefs' defense has got to play up to their standard.
Keep going. I'm going to try and see if I can get this thing right.
If that D-line plays like they did against the Bengals and can suffocate Jalen Hurts and stop that run early, I think that they can create enough disruption that the Chiefs' offense can get out to a big lead early. Big lead, I mean 14, 17, nothing. I think that Jalen Hurts, though, if he does get going and can get the ball out quick, he's got some playmakers on the outside with Devontae Smith. It's gonna be a little bit of a shootout depending on how the Chiefs defense plays. But hopefully Chase gets his camera up soon because I am treading water here.
I have no idea what's going on here, fella. This is the technical difficulties coming and hitting me hard in the middle of this stupid podcast. Because the camera's on, I don't know what's happening.
Oh man.
I'm honestly probably gotten, what is this, episode 11 now? I'm probably gotten this far with no catastrophes. But here we are.
Well, we might as well just get into the predictions then. Chase, it looks like you got the Chiefs 38-35. Do you got that going into the fourth quarter, a close ball game, or do you got the Chiefs leading and the Eagles battling back? You got the Chiefs battling back to take the lead late? How do you got that going? Audio only.
Audio only version of me right now. I have that going where the Chiefs, I think it's going to be a battle back and forth. I could see it legitimately being tied. And then whoever gets the ball last, in my thought, it's going to be the Chiefs. They get the ball last, they drive it down, potentially get a field goal, or maybe it's just somewhere in between the game. I think it's going to be like, I don't know if you said the gambling predictions, but Vegas has the Eagles winning this by 1.5. And I don't necessarily see it being that close. I do seeing the 51 being a good over-under. I have the over for sure. But I don't see it being anything besides a really hotly contested game. So, and I love how you put lock. What other games are there to bet, brother? I was going to make funny. I was like, what? Why is he putting lock for the last game of the year?
Because I'm locking in my Chiefs pick. I'm not wavering from this, not even on Super Bowl Sunday, not even after 6, 7, 8, 9 beers and a couple hot dogs. I'm not wavering from this thing. 34-31 Chiefs. Chiefs get off to a hot start, stall in the third quarter. Eagles battle back. Chiefs defense holds them off. It's a nail biter down the stretch. Chiefs 34-31.
True. Well, keep going on to something else real quick. I'm going to switch it to my phone so I at least have some sort of camera going on. I mean, I like being, midnight black, but it would be, I want people to see my beautiful face.
Well, we're doing just fine without you being visual right now. I'm speaking of doing fine without the visuals. What Super Bowl do you think would be the best location without the the visual aspect, not the most glamorous stadium, but where do you think would be the best hole in the wall, so to speak, kind of stadium to host a Super Bowl? Like a Green Bay or a a where do the fucking Ravens play? Like, some kind of tucked in, not many people really want to go there, but it's a cool venue kind of place. Good question for you. I'd go into a caller on line one. Caller on line one, what you got? Yeah, I think that I'd like to have a Super Bowl out here in Denver. It's a mile high. I can smoke all the pot I want up here. Yeah, you sound like a pothead. Caller, what's your name? My name's Kermit the Frog. I smoke more pot than Cheech and Chong combined. All right, Kermit. Well, we gotta go. Chase is blacked out right now. I gotta tend to him. I personally would like to see a Super Bowl hosted in Seattle, just to hope it rains. I like when it rains in Super Bowls. It reminds me of being a kid and watching Peyton Manning take on the Bears down in Miami, and it was a wet one. It was the first black head coaches to face each other in the Super Bowl, actually. You had Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy going at it. And that was right after Tony left the Bucks. It was good to see him win one. I was rooting for Peyton and the Colts back then. I love that big head of that guy. Omaha. But other than that, I can't really think of somewhere where they don't regularly host a Super Bowl that I'd like to see one. Other than a college stadium, I think it'd be cool to host one. Even the Rose Bowl would probably be pretty sweet to have a Super Bowl in. I mean, the pageantry of that place. Have they ever hosted a Super Bowl there? I'd have to look it up. I don't know. I could go to the phone lines, but our last caller was terrible. But if we were to do it in a college stadium, I think you'd have a couple big spots you'd want to do it. I'd imagine you want to do it at the Rose Bowl. You'd probably want to go to the Big House in Michigan. I personally, as a Gator fan, would like to see the Swamp. The other big one, though, where would you want to go outside of the SEC? Let's go Pac-12, somewhere out in the mountains. Let's go Eugene. Would you want to go to Eugene? I don't know if you want to go to Eugene. It's not much to do around there. Maybe you want to go out to the Beavers. You want to go to Oregon State. Maybe you want to go there. I don't know. Maybe Chase is never coming back. Maybe he went out west. It's a blackout. I'm probably just talking to myself at this point. Seems like it. If that's the case, then we'll move on. I'll start covering some golf. We'll get into the Phoenix Open. They got postponed this morning, the frost delay. Postponed them. It wasn't the first time they've had a frost delay out there, though. They've been experiencing some crazy weather. It's warm one week, cold the next. But it put them back, about an hour and a half, I think? The 200,000 spectators are expected, and were pushed back a couple hours due to inclement weather. They didn't even complete the round today. You got guys that started on the 10th hole that have yet to they just made the turns. So they're getting ready to call it quits out there and tee off early in the morning, try and get a brisk 9 holes in, and then move on, start their Friday.
Bro, this is so funny. I'm back, but I'm not seen. I'm trying to get myself seen here.
That's all right.
I heard that you were talking about the waste management. How's that going? A little frosty, yeah. I feel.
Well, I was just filling in the folks. We got guys that haven't even completed their round yet. You got them just making the turn.
That is very true.
They're gonna have a long day tomorrow. They're gonna have a long day. 27 holes of golf.
That sucks, dude. Could you imagine having that long of a time?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it as a recreational golfer, but the pressure they're under, they're trying to make the cut.
I was about to say, you're trying to make hundreds of thousands of dollars at best.
I enjoy playing back-to-back rounds out at my local muni, but these guys, they're playing under pressure. I don't know if I'd want to get up and have to play 9 and then hope I could go get a Sammy and bounce back for another 18 when the conditions are completely different.
Well, this is such a fucking shit show right now. I love it.
Yeah, well, I thought I did a pretty damn good job of holding down the fort without you. We might do Reed's Ramblings.
Reed's Roundtable. That's what we're on to next. That's our next solo segment.
I mean, I took a fake phone call. I fucked around and
You
got
took a
into.
fake phone call. Look at you go.
Wait until you hear that. I got caught up with some guy from fucking Denver. He wanted them to host the Super Bowl, and he smokes a lot of pot and shit. He's crazy. You
Did
don't
you?
want to hear about it.
I'm gonna keep on carrying on because it's not worth the trouble. I'm just gonna keep carrying on
Yeah, don't
audio
worry about
only.
don't worry about the video anymore. But let's take a peek at the leaderboard here, shall we? On the Waste Management Open, as we got suspended play. Leading the way are a couple of fucking Canucks. You got Nick Taylor at 5 under, tied with Adam Hadwin at 5 under. Both those guys were fortunate enough to complete their round, along with Xander Schauffele, Jim Herman, and Jason Day, all at 4 under. And you've got two of those three that have yet to complete their round. Jason Day's got 8 holes of golf to play tomorrow.
That is so
And
much.
Jim Herman's got 5 holes of golf to play.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we got guys that are, if you get a little further down this leaderboard here, the guys that haven't quite caught their stride yet, you're looking at, you got a couple guys here, Trey Mullinax, Ryan Palmer, Jason Duffner. They all respectively, I mean, Jason Duffner and Kelly Kraft are both, working their way towards the end of their round, but we got guys that are, going to play about 8 to 7, 9 holes of golf tomorrow.
Dude, that's I mean, like in that type of
Before
environment, that is just so long to play golf.
Before they even start their Friday round. So let's see. We got tee times for round 1. Let's see if it shows guys that got to. So it shows too, like you got a guy on the 15th fairway, and he started on hole 1. You've got, you got guys on the green that just marked their ball and picked up. Like that's Justin Thomas's group. And that the way they do that is they all have to agree, I think, to pick up. Like if one guy wants to keep playing, I think they all have to play it out.
Ooh,
I could be wrong.
Like that. I'd be the guy that's just such a dick out there.
It's
saying,
like, fuck you,
playing, boys.
I can still see you, pussy.
I don't care if you're blind. I'm seeing, boy.
But yeah, that's going to be an exciting Friday out there. There's going to be a golf on all damn day. I can't ask for anything better when I got to go to work tomorrow.
What I could ask for being better is my camera not fuck it up.
Well, I mean, it could be worse. You could have had the lowest ratings in 30 years, like the State of the Union. We might get more views than they did.
I did see that. That's so embarrassing, dude. What was it? It was like 29 million?
27.3. Don't give them that much credit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Did you see the link, though? Trump, because I don't realize how big the State of the Union is, apparently. Good old Trump was bringing in the peeps.
Yeah, Trump had 48, 45, 46, and 37, respectively. Biden's first one had 38, and this one was way off. He had 27.3. Lowest in 30 years. So 30 years ago, who was president?
30 years ago, probably Ronnie, if I had to guess, right?
It would have been 90. It would have
Reagan
been Clinton.
Or Bush.
No, it was before Clinton. It would have been Bush, right? 91, 92.
Yeah, that's Bush then. Or, wow. Yeah, because 2000 is when obviously HW got there.
Well, I'm not sure how much more we can continue if you can't do anything on your...
I'm so flustered, dude. Yeah, fuck it. At this point, I say we just chalk it up to sucking to suck.
Well, I can't wait to hear my Reed's Rambling Corner. I did a whole bit. It was hilarious to me, but probably not to anybody else.
Don't worry. I literally, our episode from Tuesday only got 3 views, probably 2 of which were mine. So it's all right. Literally no one's seeing this. Not a soul.
Oh my God, that's great.
Either way, I'm going to I guess my weekend mission now is to figure out how to actually use that nice camera I got and not have it do whatever the fuck it did. I literally have no idea.
It said battery low on my end, and then it just
I know,
died.
but the thing, I had the battery plugged in, so that's why, or I had it plugged into its charger, so apparently it can't record and charge, but if you're going to use that battery long term, what the fuck's the point of having a camera phone that can't charge while it's recording? Stupid as shit.
Oh man. Well, I'd send it back and just get a new one.
It's a little too late for that. Well, you want to sign us off since you're the only one able to be seen, and then we're done.
I appreciate everyone for watching. If you are, I don't know if many people are, but if you are, just don't forget to hit that like button right down there in the corner. Like, subscribe, follow, always on. Catch us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. We're there. Except OnlyFans. Chase won't do that. So long, everybody.
Apparently in my dreams. We'll stop recording. Hold on. Now I'm flustered even more. We're stopping now.